Good afternoon everyone, Madelaine here. As you all know, I teach Year 2. What brings me in front of you all today is to discuss the teaching strategy of inquiry-based learning. I have done quite a bit of research on this strategy and I have successfully implemented it with my class, with the main focus of integrating the arts with other learning areas. We all have an excellent understanding of the arts-based strategies of modelling, improvisation, role-playing, and teacher-guided learning, as these are the strategies we have been using for some time and they've been working quite well. For arts education, that is. However, for students to really embrace the benefits of the arts, we need to look towards an integrated and inclusive learning experience. Now firstly, let me explain to you all the reason I began my research on this inspiring strategy. I was on a mission to find a more authentic approach to delivering the arts curriculum, and after learning about the benefits of using an integrated approach, this became one of the main drivers for my research. Using an integrated approach through the arts provides the students with meaningful learning opportunities that can stimulate their creativity and foster deeper engagement in the content. During my research, I did discover some complexities that must be considered when aiming to integrate the arts with other learning areas. These complexities included how successfully the learning objectives can be met, the availability of required resources, and the students' abilities, interests, and prior knowledge. However, with careful planning that is structured around a topic or theme of interest to the students, an integrated arts program can be extremely successful and beneficial. Another driving influence for my research was to find a strategy that would promote an inclusive learning environment to ensure all students from the variety of cultural backgrounds we have at our school have their individual abilities appropriately challenged and have opportunities to experiment and take risks throughout their learning. Researcher Julie Allen found that an inclusive arts program can have positive effects on a student's self-esteem, social well-being, and social acceptance, as they have increased confidence and creativity skills. Also, in other research by Colbert and Vaughan, inclusion in arts programs can result in significantly higher literacy results. This brings me to the inquiry-based learning approach. As explained by the author Stevenson, inquiry-based learning involves the research of real-world questions or issues and developing the essential 4C skills of critical thinking and problem solving, communication, collaboration, and creativity. This approach resonates with the constructivist learning approach, as it identifies the students as being active constructors of the knowledge. It places the students at the center of their learning and positions the teacher as a facilitator as opposed to an instructor. Now, some of you may already be successfully implementing lessons or units using the inquiry-based learning approach, which is fantastic, and I would love to hear all of your experiences using the strategy. However, the way I am proposing this strategy be implemented will provide these students with learning opportunities to experience the arts through a more authentic approach. The author Russell Bowie highlights the benefits of arts education as allowing the students to experience and explore the world around them, as well as enhancing the development of their emotional, social, and cultural skills. By integrating the arts across other learning areas, we are then harnessing these benefits to be experienced in new and more meaningful ways. Imagine a classroom where history, science, and art were all embraced collectively. Well, this is exactly what I have done with my Year 2s, and they loved it. I began my inquiry unit planning with the theme of how shelters have changed over time. This links to content descriptors within the history, science, and art curriculum for Year 2, and also addresses the cross-curriculum priority of Indigenous histories. Firstly, I piqued the students' interest by engaging them in a lesson they can relate to by exploring their own houses. The children took photos and made models of their houses, allowing them to apply their artistic skills and knowledge. We then explored the features of them, including what they're made of and what they have in common. This integrated both visual arts and science. This led to the question, what do you think Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people's houses look like before we had modern day building tools? The children shared great ideas and were excited to begin their group work investigation to learn more. We then had a local Indigenous elder come in and show us pictures and instruments and tell us all about how the Indigenous people would make their shelters and what resources they relied on. This gave the students the opportunity to respond to art as well as generating other possibilities of what could have been made out of those resources. The children were then asked to create an artwork that represented the features of a shelter used by the Indigenous people. They were given a lot of freedom to interpret and create their artwork how they please. This ensured inclusion and creativity was present. Adding the elements of art curriculum throughout this unit of work allowed the students to build a more meaningful understanding as they were immersed in the theme. They had a number of opportunities to make and respond to art, which helps them connect to what they are doing. It allowed for the history and science to come to life, so to speak. Integrating the arts with other learning areas also provides a wider scope for assessment, as we, as teachers, can analyse and interpret the students' artwork and their responses to art to gauge their understanding of a concept or topic. Through the use of the inquiry-based learning strategy, we can successfully integrate the arts with other learning areas.